But also before we go, I want to get into this point, too. I think it's very fascinating because, you know, next week will be Easter. And I listen to some of your radio shows. The people go to waronthehorizon.com. And you said Jesus must go. You did this interesting take on religion. You basically called Jesus a homosexual in the fact. And I just wanted to get your point. Like, what do you mean by, like, why do you think of Jesus being a homosexual?
And I'm going to try to do this quickly because I know we want to get to the phone line.
Right.
When we did the research of the history of that, what we find is the Jesus story is a story that's stolen from Africa. And without getting into the whole story, in our story, it was Asar, who was a man, Aset, who was a woman, and Haru, which was a child. When the Europeans stole our African story and they created their Trinity, they had a problem because Aset was a female. Originally, in the Christian story, the Mary Mother of God was very, very prominent. But because European culture is homosexual, that's why you see the Roman Catholic priests, the Roman Catholics. That's why the priest can't have sex with a female, can only have sex with little boys. They had a problem with the concept of the woman being equal to the man in conception and having a trinity. So eventually what they did was they removed the woman. So instead of having the God, you know, the God man, God's wife, and then the immaculately conceived child, they removed the woman and created this magical male figure called the Holy Ghost so they could have a all-male trinity. God, Son, and Holy Ghost, all three males that's going to create creation, which is only can be considered homosexual because three men cannot produce creation anywhere. So then when we looked at it and looked at how did they get the Jesus Christ character that they took from Asar and Haru, what we see is they used homosexuals to actually, when they painted them, Michelangelo painted his homosexual uncle who was a prisoner in jail. He painted his homosexual uncle, and that's the image we get of Jesus when we say Jesus, who he was really a homosexual. So what I'm saying is, we're not saying that God is a homosexual. We're saying that when we accept religion from the European, who is a homosexual? And they give us an image that most of our people look at and you say, who is that? They say, that's Jesus, that's God. You can look at him now with your new eyes and look at him and say, okay, I have to admit, if I saw this guy walking down the street right now, I'd say, this dude is a punk. And those are not the kind of images we as African people used for the Creator prior to our enslavement.